Wait, I gotta do it your way. I can't do it your way.
Why can't you? Turn it up like this. And hold it with your fingers.
Oh. Man, that one's really raspy.
There you go. That's what it's supposed to be all about.
All right. Welcome back. Two Guys in the Outdoors.
Episode 465
million.
There you
go. For both of you listeners.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome back to Two Guys in the Outdoors. Bob.
Jason.
And you know what? A couple things to let you know about. So we created a podcast now. So some of our episodes that we're just talking, we're putting it towards podcasting. And it's in the YouTube podcast, but it's also going to be on Shopify. Just Two Guys in the Outdoors. Not Shopify, sorry. Spotify. Okay.
What are you shopping for?
Well, that'd be the next thing. But yeah, so we're rolling out podcasts now, okay, and we're gonna try to have some more interviews with people and some campfires and different things. So you'll see me migrate some of our existing content over into Spotify. Okay. So I encourage you to go on over there, take a look at that stuff, and give us some likes and follow us over there also. Because there may be some stuff that winds up on Spotify that's not on YouTube. Never know.
That's right.
Okay. The other thing is, I've told you before, so I started Rocktown Outdoors and been doing some revamping. So I'm targeting Rocktown Outdoors for the hunter and not just for the outdoorsman. Okay. So a little plug because it is my store and
there you go.
I can say I'm helping sponsor this.
There you go.
So
absolutely.
So Rocktown Outdoors, go check it out. Even if you don't buy anything, shoot me a message and see what I can do to improve. I'm new. I'm trying to improve on it and make it better. So I would love for you to purchase something, but just at least give me a comment. Okay. So
you got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. So if we want to talk about like what we used to do, what have you done in the outdoors lately?
Yeah.
Mine has been, I'm really focused on trying to get my my store set up right. And
market it properly.
Getting the marketing out there, trying to get the YouTube show configured like we want it, get the Spotify, the podcasting show like we want it, and trying to figure out some future content. And matter of fact, yeah, Jason and I just talked about a few shows that we think that you're going to like. So we'll give you a spoiler later on, maybe.
Well, give it to them now. It's going to be geared toward the urban person that is looking for a place to hunt and how to get started hunting, and we're going to try to bring some people in that
have that situation going,
that have that experience, live in an urban setting, and they're still utilizing public properties and they're successful.
So we realized, especially after talking to a lot of our mentees that we talked to, a lot of our students, and a lot of them come from urban areas. They live in town somewhere. They may live on a little lot. Okay, so it's not like they can just go out in their back door like some people have.
Yeah, I know.
To do some shooting or sight in a rifle or a bow or just to go hunting. You got a few minutes after work, shoot outside, go hunting for a little bit and come home. Not everybody can do that, so you got to make plans. Okay, I'm in that category where if I want to go hunting, I got to make a little bit of a plan where I'm going to go before I go, because no matter where I go hunt, it's got to be 30 minutes or more for me to get there. So I need to decide a little bit. If it was at my back door, I could wake up that morning and say, hey, let's go.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But when you don't live there, sometimes it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, got a little bit of travel, and
Yeah.
and you can't just practice in the backyard. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I mean, it's like you. I mean, yeah, you got, let's say before you got your cabin, that's just down the road. You're going down to Nelson County,
Yep.
right? So, that's a few hours away.
Or public land here.
Or the public grant.
Yeah.
So you got to make a little bit of choices on what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, we're going to bring some content to hopefully at least prepare people for what they need to think about, how to plan, some places that they can potentially join in order to be able to target shoot. Isaac Walton Leagues, for an example.
Yep.
So anyway,
but there's more to come. So we are trying to cater to the beginner, to the new hunter, and that's new hunter and anything. You could be a seasoned hunter but new to hunting on public ground.
yeah,
Could be something like that. Who knows?
A ton of content out there for hunters in general and experienced hunters, but I don't think there's a ton of stuff out there for the newbie, the
Right.
beginner.
So that's coming. Then we also, you already know Jason and I's background, and we're big into teaching and coaching new hunters, right? And we kind of developed a virtual training, right? That we worked with. Well, Jason works at DWR, but we do that through the DWR outreach program. And we just finished up a mentored hunt with our first annual Becoming a Virginia Turkey Hunter.
Turkey hunter, yeah.
Okay, so we just had that. So we're going to have one of the mentees and their mentor. Hopefully I can get him to come on also. And we just discuss how it felt to him, what it was like. Because this was kind of neat. We've done these mentored hunts before. And this one was really neat.
Yeah.
Because we tried to give them the whole hunt camp type of feeling. As close as we could in a rainstorm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But hopefully we can get them on and you can hear that too.
Yeah. So I think we were successful.
Oh yeah, it was a blast.
We didn't harvest any birds, but
we didn't.
it was successful.
We didn't sit around the campfire like we had intended.
That's right.
And tell lies and stories and really teach them how to do that. Well, I think we did teach them how to tell the stories.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. But it was inside a room.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was raining bad that night before our hunt, and then the next day, man, it was wet.
Yeah.
It was really wet. I took my hunt clothes out of my pack a couple days later because I forgot I left them in there, and I went to wash them, and it was like, holy crap, they're soaking wet.
Yeah, I guarantee you. Well, when you get a couple inches of rain the past couple days prior to the hunt, it's definitely gonna be wet.
And then the grass was for me not quite waist high, but it was well up over my knee, and all the grass was just wet.
Yeah.
All the way to the top. So, and it wasn't dew wet. We tromped through it for 4 hours.
Well,
still wet.
And that's part of hunting is dealing with the elements and having gear, being prepared for that kind of stuff, and you still end up wet or cold or whatever the scenario is.
So I learned something from this. So, we buy rubber boots, right? And they're really good to wear, right? Because you can go hunting with the rubber boots, and you don't have to worry so much about snake bites as much. Your feet doesn't get wet, your boots don't get wet, and all that stuff. So it keeps that wetness out. You can walk through a little bit of a stream and your feet don't get wet, right?
Yeah.
It's rubber,
Yeah.
right? So it keeps the water out.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? When water gets in them,
It stays in.
it stays in. I left my boots out, and I got a soft top camper on my truck, and I left my boots out, and we had a heck of a storm the night before. Well, it was like 2 nights in a row. My truck was in a heck of a rainstorm, and it normally doesn't leak in, but that time I think it was going right at the zippers and down into it, and it didn't fill up the boot, but at least the foot part was all filled up. So that was an interesting morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, putting your feet down and
in a wet boot.
But I'll tell you what, merino wool,
it works.
It works. It does. It doesn't make it feel like that they're wet. But
yeah, well, good.
It was fun.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff coming. We got another bow build coming.
Yeah, hopefully this time will work.
Yeah, this summer we're gonna.
Should I buy mine pre-built and then bring?
I'm gonna build another bow. You're more than welcome to join me if you'd like.
No, I do,
but
I do want to have my own.
Yeah,
I want to make my own bow this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think that was good last year. I know I learned a ton about it.
Your first ever attempt, and I've made a lot of bows, and not all of my bows are successful. It depends on the wood. If you make one little mistake, you can ruin it. Chalk yours up as a huge learning, because this summer when you dig into it,
I know my stopping points.
Well,
and I also know that it needs to be longer
than
what I wanted to make it.
Yeah.
So, and I understand the reasons why too.
Yeah.
So, a lot of hard work, but a lot of learnings from it. And you learn from hard work, right?
Absolutely.
So that was good.
my goal is to build another bow and have time to shoot it prior to the fall season. And
well, we better get started now.
It won't be long. We're going to have to get started.
Yep.
So I was thinking about that the other day, and with us here just shooting the breeze made me think about that's something that we need to get started on here before too long.
Yeah, we do.
So, and we may not cover it
as
extensively, but we'll probably bring some
at least show the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Yeah, we'll bring
all the details.
We'll bring some of that footage for some of you all that are wanting to dabble in self bow making. So.
Or we might just show you, hey, it came true.
Yeah. Or we just won't show them if it fails.
Yeah. It's like, well, what we got next year?
Yeah. We didn't get to that.
Look at this bear bow that I'm using this year.
But anyway. That's all about even experienced hunters as ourselves. We're learning too. We learn every time we go out. We learn new skills. We challenge ourselves with using primitive equipment sometimes, but anyway, so we can relate to you all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all hunting's hard work,
but no matter how experienced of a hunter you are, we're dealing with living, breathing, beings, right? And they think for themselves, right? So just when you think you know them, they're going to throw you this curveball. There's going to be that oddball out there that just totally goes away from your normal thinking, right? So, even the most experienced one will tell you, if they're honest, that they're learning every time they're in the field.
Absolutely. If you're not, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway, we just finished up turkey season, right?
Yeah.
So how'd it go for you?
It was a good season. Here in Virginia, I talked to a lot of turkey hunters, and a lot of turkey hunters were saying that it was an off year. Turkeys didn't gobble as much as they normally do. They wasn't as responsive to a call. And and I can experience. I experienced some of that myself this season, but I was fortunate enough to harvest a bird on public land this year. Um, you and I had a couple hunts together.
Yep.
We heard birds. Um,
And if you haven't heard a bird out in the wild like that, it is the coolest thing.
yeah,
Especially when you hear them coming towards you.
yeah, it gets exciting.
Oh, it's neat.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was a good season. We heard birds. Um, we had all kinds of learning experiences. We learned some new property, which was public property. So we went in, do it yourself, unguided, went in, scouted the property, went in and hunted. And I think if we had another day or two, I think we would have been successful because we was learning the property, we was learning what the turkeys were doing. So yeah, I chalk that up as success.
And what he's talking about is there was 4 of us that went down to a WMA close to more central Virginia, and it's because myself and another friend of ours we won a quota hunt, and we could take some friends. So we ended up, the 4 of us still went down there. None of us had ever hunted it. Jason and I was the only one that had ever been there.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily enough, we had a very good guide that took us there.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Well, we had Katie,
Yeah.
a turkey biologist working for DWR, giving us a tour of the place.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a learning experience. It was my very first time of bona fide turkey hunting. Okay, I mean, I went out thinking I was turkey hunting, but this time it was bona fide turkey hunting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. It's way different than, in my opinion, than deer hunting.
Yeah.
Okay, deer hunting, I've been a lot. Deer hunting, you can move around and everything. Turkey hunting, you can't move so much as I experienced on the last hunt that I was with you.
Yeah.
That I got busted.
Yeah, those turkeys, their eyes is their greatest defense. A deer, they use their nose, but those turkeys, they got excellent eyesight. So.
Yeah, if turkeys would ever start smelling like deer, we'd never get them.
It'd be tough, wouldn't it? It'd be real tough.
But yeah, talking about that last one. So we went out. I don't know, how many times do we go out? You and I went out once.
Well, we hunted.
twice.
We hunted the
Yeah.
WMA property, and then we went over to
And some
some
private property. But over at the private property, we set up 4 times. One time was on the same bird, or 2 times was on the same bird. But the last bird that we did, it was kind of neat because Jason goes, "Here, we got to get around them." So we trucked on down, and I learned what running and gunning is. You don't actually run, okay? But we got alongside it, and I set up. Jason got in behind me, and he was calling, and I was getting excited. I could hear him, and he came in a little bit. Then he'd come in a little bit, and he'd gobble some more. Come in a little bit, gobble some more, and then all of a sudden he just quit gobbling. Then the next thing I know is Jason peeks out from around where he was at, and he goes, "I think he got busted." So, but it was between that time and the time you had me set up inside the blind, a wooden blind, where I'm actually just sitting there on the ledge. So it gave me a little bit of chance where I can move a little bit. Okay, but he never did come. He went the other way.
Yeah, he kind of worked along the side of the power line and didn't show himself. But
both of them were neat. I have realized, and it's the same thing that I heard when I went bear hunting up in Maine, that you need to move very slightly, not move at all. You got to be ready. You can't say, "Oh, there they are." Okay.
Yeah.
You can't do this like in deer hunting where you're slow movements and they still don't quite see you, right? You can't do any of that stuff.
So you learned a lot this
I
season.
learned a ton.
That's good.
I never learned how to do the mouth call, but I think I got fairly decent with my slate call.
Good.
Yeah, to the point when I went out with the mentee that I took out, I was calling for him and I was like, here, I impressed myself. Never called anything in, but that day nobody. There was one bird seen, I think.
10 hunters, and a couple birds were heard, but one person called in a bird, but they kind of the same scenario was caught moving, and the bird got spooked.
Well, what he told me is he was set up to shoot like that, and the bird came out over there, and he had to turn completely, and he couldn't get over there fast enough.
Yeah, it's tough to move on them birds, but. But hey, that's why we do what we do. It's about learning. We share successes and unsuccessful hunts. You know, I think every hunt is a successful hunt as long as you get to come home safely.
Yeah. And that may sound like a cliche, but I tell you what, this man and I too believe it. Big time.
Absolutely.
And when you can smile about it, you know you've done something right. And when I say smile about it, I've seen so many people upset that they didn't get the big deer, okay, or they didn't get a turkey, or they didn't get that big bass or whatever, and they're all upset because they didn't get it.
Well, like one of the hunts we were on, you, myself, and Mike, you know, we heard those turkeys fighting.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, you're not gonna hear turkeys fighting sitting on the couch at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I ran into the bear. Which I need to show you that video. I need to create a short for that. But yeah,
or the bobcat that came up on you.
Yeah, I called in a bobcat this year. Ran into bear. You know, you're not going to do that sitting at home watching television. You got to get out in the outdoors. And those were all. I didn't bring a turkey home, but those were successful hunts. I mean, where are you going to go and have a bobcat stalk in on your turkey decoy?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to go and run into a bear and see him up in the tree? You know, that's the whole part of hunting, is hearing and seeing the sounds and spending time with friends and family out in the outdoors. It just you can't explain it to a non-hunter. But once you experience, it's awesome stuff.
It's something I say a lot, and it's, if you're around me, especially if you're outside in the morning, you'll hear me say it. But the way the morning wakes up, I think is the happiest time for me. Okay,
just hearing that world wake up.
Yeah, because you get out there before daybreak. Get out there an hour before and just sit there. You know, for me, sit there and drink a cup of coffee. And just listen. And you don't hear anything at first, right? Then you start hearing some birds. Just a couple at first. Then you start hearing a few more. Okay? And you just start hearing movement, you know, in the woods, right? And it's just, the world is waking up.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
People in the city's got the same thing. They say the same thing, right? You know, you can be in the center of New York City and you can hear the city wake up. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing out in the woods. You'll hear the world wake up.
Yep.
Right. So, but I just loved it. I love that time.
It's something that everybody needs to experience.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
So. But anyway.
What else? Anything else happened to you in the last few months?
Nope, just been doing some turkey hunting and working, and we'll be getting geared up for some new content coming out, and we're going to do a bow build, and then before you know it, small game season and archery season will be here.
Well, I'm going to throw something out, and this will be an advertisement for DWR. June 19th starts our becoming a Virginia small game hunter virtual series, and we'll be going starting June 19th every Thursday until November.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
covering squirrel, rabbit, and upland game bird.
Yeah, in that order,
Yep.
to try to get y'all prepared for the season.
Yep. And
Try to get done right before the season.
And we'll have in-person clinics and workshops, and we're actually going to include some hunts in that as well. So,
And then a month after that, I believe it's July 16th, starts our becoming a Virginia deer hunter.
yep.
That's on a Wednesday, and it'll be every Wednesday until November.
Yep.
Okay,
And
so
that
Wednesday and Thursday.
And that will end with a deer hunt.
A whitewater.
Yep, Widewater State Park.
Yep.
So hey, if you're interested, you can sign up for those classes and enjoy some time with us.
It's kind of cool with our turkey series, where we actually had somebody from South Carolina.
Was it South Carolina or North Carolina? One of the Carolinas.
One of the Carolinas.
One of the Carolinas. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, we had
And
an out-of-stater come in.
And
yeah.
he actually came up and hunted with us.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Cool deal.
But yeah, so we got a jam-packed summer, hopefully, and then you never know. I mean, then hunting season will be here, and
We'll start all over again.
so
Anyway, hey, like always, keep it simple. Get out in the outdoors.
have some fun, and then do this for me. Give us a like,
Subscribe.
and please give us some comments. Okay, and check out Rocktown Outdoors for your hunting needs. Take care.
It's not